Okay, guys, so I'm recording, okay, just so you guys know, and we're going to be factoring again today, okay? So guys, will you listen? It's worrisome and maybe a little annoying when students go ahead of me because there's no benefit. There's no benefit to going ahead of me, and it could cause some problems. So just stick right with me, okay? Stay right with me. Okay, so right here in the middle, see those numbers right there? Those are all perfect squares. So 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, etc. Those are all called perfect squares, okay? So here's the first rule that you have to have memorized. It's really, you guys already know it, I'm sure you do, okay? So if you have something squared minus something squared, the first thing is a, the second thing is a b. Then you go a plus b times a minus b, okay? That's the rule. I want you to come over here, guys, and I want you to write a to the second plus b to the second. Is there a rule for squares when there's a positive in the middle? Do you guys know? Is there a rule? There's not, okay? So I want you to write no rule. There is no rule for the sum of squares. It's only the difference, only if you have a negative, okay? Okay, let's go ahead with number 1. So I'm going to make you do something silly for a couple of examples. And I know it's not necessary, but I want to do it so we can communicate, okay? So I want you to write this as something to the second minus something to the second. This is the silly part. So what to the second gives you x to the second, everybody? Tell me. An x. Good. Thank you. What to the second gives you 64, guys? What times what? What times itself gives you 64? That's an 8. Okay? So look, guys. Here's your a. Here's your b. So the answer is a plus b. That's x plus 8 times a minus b. That's x minus 8. That's your answer, and you're done. That's it. Okay? Question B. Let's do the parenthesis thing just for a couple of these, and then we're not going to do it anymore. I just want you to visualize it. To what to the second gives you 25? A 5. What goes with that 5, everybody? An s. Good, because we've got to get that s squared. And what to the second gives you 36? A 6. So your a is a 5s, and your b is a 6. So you go a minus b. That would be 5s. I won't switch over. There we go. That would be 5s plus 6 times 5s minus 6. That's your answer, and we're done. Okay, who says I'm totally good? I got that. Okay, so come over here, and I'm actually going to change this, so just cross that out. Tell me what page we're on, will you?
117.
Thank you, 117. And we're on problem 3. Okay, so change it to this, you guys, okay? Write it as 4m squared minus t squared. Now, I'm not going to really make you write it as something squared times something squared. So, actually, you know what? I'm changing my mind. Make it 4m to the 8th. Okay? So now when we split it, it's going to be a little bit more tricky. What to the second gives you 4? A 2. Somebody tell me what we have to put with those 2's to get that m to the 8th. Has to be the same. I have to split it into two things that are the same. It's an m to the 4th. Yeah, m to the 4th multiplied by m to the 4th is m to the 8th. Good. And then one's a plus and one's a minus. Everybody tell me what goes in the second blank. That's a t. Yeah, and that's it. I have a question for you. Everybody look right here. What if you were working with your group and someone in your group had this bottom thing? You had the one that's boxed. They have the one down there. Same or not the same? Same. Okay. Is 2 times 3 the same as 3 times 2? It's the same. The order doesn't matter. You have to keep the middle signs the same, but the order doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Question 4. I'm also going to change this one. Okay. I want you to cross out what you've got, and I want you to write 49 minus 100x squared. Okay. Everybody freeze right here for just a second. I want you to listen. 95+% of my students, more than that, I'm sure, can do this difference of squares. It's not difficult, right? But then we get to this problem, which is difference of squares, and then people get confused. I bet 30% of the people miss it. I'm not kidding, okay? Look what people do. Just watch. They go, okay, this is going to be 10x and 10x. So if you write that, then you're saying that 10x times 10x is 49. Is that correct? It's not. So people get all weirded out that the variable is coming second. Who cares? It doesn't matter if it's first or second. You have to keep it in the order that it's given. So guys, the first blank is not 10x. It's what? Everybody tell me.
7.
It's going to be 7. Good. One's a plus, one's a minus. And then now tell me what goes in the second blank. That's your 10x. Okay. And then listen what somebody else said to me yesterday. Okay, listen to this. They're like, well, then can you like start switching those around? Why would you? Like, you don't have to. There's nothing weird about that. Yeah, maybe it's a little awkward, but it's nothing that we can't handle. So just leave it alone, because it's just going to get more difficult if you start messing with stuff. Okay? Okay, let's do this one right here. Is the thing that goes in my first blank 3b and 3b? Correct or incorrect? Incorrect. So what goes there? 4. 4 times 4 is 16. One's a plus, one's a minus. What goes in my second blank, everybody? 3b. I mean, this is easy. This is not a difficult concept at all. Who says I totally agree? I'm totally good with this. Okay, yay. Okay, now we're going to change our focus. Now we have these rules that you're going to have to follow, and these are now cubes, meaning raised to the third power. You're going to have to memorize these, okay? Everybody write down the word memorize. It looks like you have to memorize 2. You actually only have to memorize 1. Look right here for a second. Let me show you something, okay? Look up, if you would. Okay, a to the third, a to the third, match. B to the third, B to the third. A, B, B, match, 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 match. Everything matches, okay? So far it's the same rule. Well, then watch what happens with the sign. If this is a negative, you go negative, positive. If this is a positive, you go positive, negative. So you just repeat that same sign and then change the second sign. And then the last signs are always positive. So it's the same. Negative goes negative, positive. Positive goes positive, negative. Final signs are always positive, and the factoring is exactly the same. It's the same rule, as long as you remember that sign rotation. Who says I get that? Okay, let's come over here. We're going to do this silly little step for a minute, okay? So write it as something to the third minus something to the third. So everybody in the room, what to the third gives me x to the third? An x, okay? Everybody in the room, there's lots of people in here, so everybody answer, okay? What to the third gives me an 8? Tell me that.
2.
A 2. Okay, now everybody watch. This part's just maybe a little tricky at the beginning, okay? So, sorry, I'm trying to erase. I'm having a little bit of issues. Are we having internet problems at the school today? Does anybody know? Has it been glitchy? No?
I could test the internet if you wanted to.
You know, I have that app too. That's pretty cool, huh? It can tell your speed. Yeah, our IT guy helped me do it. Okay, so anyway, what rule am I using? I'm using the top rule. Why am I using the top rule? Because the top rule has the negative in the middle, okay? So look what I'm going to do, guys. My A is an X, and my B is a 2, and I'm going to put it into that yellow rule that I just highlighted, okay? So let's do it. A minus B, that's X minus 2. And then you take your A, which is the X, and you square it. And then it's plus 2 times A times B. So that would be 2 times X times 2. That would be 4X plus 2 squared is 4. That's it. Okay? Now, you do have to look and see if it factors further. And this one actually does factor further. It's the guess and check factoring that we went through last time when you guys watched the video. So the x to the second is going to go to an x and an x. Signs are the same. They're both positive. And then 2 and 2 multiply to give me 4 and add to give me 4. Okay? So your final answer is that right there, all the way factored down. Okay, let's do the next one. Take the step and write it as something to the third plus something to the third. Everybody in the room, what to the third gives me 64? What's that?
4.
That's a 4. And then what to the third gives me b to the third? That's a b. Good. Okay, so look at the rule we're using, guys. It's this pink rule. Why is it the pink rule? It is because the middle sign's a positive, and that middle sign's a positive. So my a is a 4, my b is a b, and I'm going to put it in that pink formula. So it's a plus b, that's 4 plus b. Then you take your a, which is a 4, and you square it. That gives you 16, minus 2 times a times b, that's 2 times 4 times b, that would be 8b, plus b squared, that's b squared. Okay, now if you look at that trinomial, the second parenthesis that has 3 terms in it, that might factor further. If you want to take that 4 plus b and rewrite it as b plus 4, you totally can. You don't have to, but I will. Okay, and then the trinomial reordered is b the second minus 8b plus 16. And now I'm going to factor that. So the b plus 4 stays the way it is. The b squared goes to a b and a b. Signs are the same, they're both negative. 4 and 4 multiply to give me 16 and add to give me 8. So that's my answer, just like that, and I'm done. Okay, you guys, let me say something right here. Everybody freeze for just a second. So if you don't know how to factor, if factoring is something that you struggle with, is that going to cause you a lot of problems in your math class? It is. Okay, so that's why we're taking the time out to actually go through this factoring and make sure you know how to do it, because it's going to be used often. So you've got to know how to do it. Okay, everybody look at question 8. How many people are in that picture? Can you tell me that? It is 2. It's not people. I always say people because I feel like it makes sense. It's term. And terms are separated with pluses and minuses. So there's a term and there's a term. When you factor, when the directions say factor, the first thing you always look for, always, is what? What do you look for first? Say it again. You're right.
The greatest common.
Yes. What does that mean, greatest common factor?
The number that.
Yeah. Is there a number that goes into both of them, right? Is there one on this problem?
Yeah.
What is it?
2.
It's a 2. The second I look at that, guys, I know I can take out a 2. You know how I know that? 2 and 54 are both what, everybody? They're both even. So if they're both even, I know I can take out a 2, right? Is there anything else I could take out of both of those people?
Yeah.
What? An R, right? Now, here's a place that people mess up. Look right here. Do you see how I have 2 terms right here? Would it ever change to 1 term in the center? Never. So it's always going to be something minus something. Okay, and then we just have to fill in those blanks. So you go 2 divided by 2, that goes away. You have an R, you take it out, it's gone. So everything goes away, and that's why people only write 1 term right there. But there is something there. What is it, everybody?
A 1.
It's a 1. Good. And then 54 divided by 2 is 27. If you have 4 R's and you take out 1, you are left with 3. Okay. Now, this is now right here. If that's how you answered the question, you would get 1 out of 3 points, because this is now the difference of cubes. So see the 2R, let's write it down here, and we're going to forget about that for a second. And now let's focus with that 1 minus 27R the third. So write it as something to the third minus something to the third. Is this step that I'm writing right now really something that you would have to do when you do the problem? No. If you don't need to, you don't need to. What to the third gives me 1. What to the third gives me 27? A 3. What goes with it, everybody? An R. So look, here's my A, here's my B. I've got a minus in front. So I'm looking at that pink rule right here, okay? So the pink rule is going to be A plus B. That's 1 plus, it's supposed to be a minus. It's not the pink rule, it's the yellow rule, because we started with a minus, so we have to start with a minus. Do you guys see how I caught myself right there? I caught myself. That was a perfect example because I'm like, oh, well, that's a negative. So this first thing should be a negative. So why am I putting a positive? That's incorrect. Okay, so anyways, 1 minus 3r. Then you take your 1 and square it. 1 squared is 1. And then you change the sign. So now it's a plus. 2 times 1 times 3r is 6r plus. This is not 3r squared. Common mistake right there. That is not 3r squared. What is it? 9r squared. Yes, you have to go 3 squared is 9. So that is a 9r squared right there. Okay. Now I'm going to reorder it. See the first guy? There's no way I'm reordering that. I'm not going to write it as negative 3r plus 1. That's a mess. But I am going to reorder the other guy. So this is 9r squared plus 6r plus 1. Okay. And then I'm going to factor this. So it's 1 minus 3r. The 9r squared goes to a 3r and a 3r. Could it also go to a 9 and a 1? Yes. Chances are it's going to be the other one, though. So I always start with 3 and 3, and if it doesn't work, I go to 9 to 1. Hey, are the signs the same or are they different? They're the same. How do you know they're the same? Because of that plus right there. Are they both going to be plus or are they both going to be minus? They're both going to be plus because of that plus right there, right? So we're going to go plus, plus, 1, 1. Totally works out. There's my final answer. Done. Yes, sir.
So like, it says 3r plus 1 twice. Could you write it as 3r plus 1 squared?
You could. Yes. Yeah, no problem. All right, here we go with question number 9. Basically the same thing again, just all mixed up is all it is. Okay, so everybody look at number 9, and I want you to tell me out loud, what would you do first? Talk to me. Take out a 2, right? Anything else I can take out, yes or no? No. I have 2 terms originally, so I'm going to have how many terms inside? 2. It's not going to change. 2 divided by 2 is a 1, y squared. 200 divided by 2 is 100. If you stop, you get 1 out of 3 points because that y squared minus 100 is now the difference of, is it squares or cubes? Squares. So the y the second goes to a y and a y. One's a plus, one's a minus. What to the second gives you 100, a 10. There's my answer. Done. Who says, I totally get this lesson. I feel good. I understand. Raise your hand. Doesn't that feel good? Have you guys ever been in a math class where you don't understand and you feel like they're speaking the language you don't understand? Never a happy feeling, right? Okay, everybody look at number 10. Can I take something out numerically? Yes or no? Number. Yes. What can I take? I look at that and immediately I'm like, boom, I know what I can take. It's a 5. How did we know that so fast? Look, this ends in a 5, that ends in a 0. Anything that ends in 5 or 0, 5 goes into. Okay? Talk to me about the x's, guys. This person has 3 x's. This person has 4 x's. I have to take the same from each of them. So how many can I take?
3.
Why not 4?
Because the other one doesn't have.
First guy doesn't even have 4. How can you take 4 from something that's not there, right? How about the y's? How many, everybody? 1. You guys are so awesome. Okay, 35 divided by 5 is 7. I have 3 x's, I take them out, they're gone. I have 4 y's, I take out 1, I still have 3. Minus 60 divided by 5 is 12. I have 4 x's, I take out 3, I still have 1. I have a y, I take it out, it's gone. Now, you always have to inspect and see if this will go further. Will that go any further, squares or cubes? No. 7 and 12 are not perfect squares or perfect cubes, so I know I'm done. Okay? Number 11. Everybody in the room, tell me what to do first. Take out a 2. Yeah, don't divide by 2. That's what you do when it's an equation, but we don't have an equation, so we have to take out a 2, okay? And I actually wouldn't even do that if you have an equation. I think it's confusing. So if you take out a 2, you're left with 2x to the second plus 5x minus 6. Okay, everybody freeze right here and let me say something. Yes. Minus 3. Thank you. The second I see your hand, then I'm like, this is such a compliment. I don't think, what do you not know? I think, what did I do wrong? Literally, that's what comes in my head. So you guys are awesome. Okay, look right here. Could this be the difference of squares right there? Could that be the first rule that we talked about, difference of squares? Everybody look at, well, let me just tell you. The difference of squares is this. You start with a the second minus b the second, and it factors to a plus b times a minus b. There is no way that that's the difference of squares. Why not? I know immediately. I look at it like, no, not squares. Why? Come on, guys. How many terms does the difference of squares begin with? 2. How many do I have? 3. There's no way it's a difference of squares. Who says I understand now? Okay. Could this be the difference of cubes or sum of cubes? Look at the rules. Look at the rule. Everybody look at it. This is what you start with. Right here. Start with that. And look what I've got. Could that be cubes? Come on, everybody. Why not? 3 terms instead of 2. So this is not any of those tricky little rules. It's just guess and check if it works. Guesses and check is what's on the lesson last time, okay? So everybody put your 2. The 2x a second is going to go to a 2x and a plain x, okay? You guys, are the signs the same or are they different? Anybody that followed my way of factoring? They're different. Who likes the little tricky stuff I show? It's pretty slick, isn't it? If you do your own way and your way works for you, do it. This is just how I teach it, okay? So they're different, and I'm going to be subtracting the numbers, okay? So the things that give me 3 are 1 and 3, and I'm subtracting, and I'm trying to get a positive 5, okay? So if it was like this, 1 and 3, that gives me 2 and 3. Some people think add to 5. No, we're not adding, we're subtracting. So that is not it. So it's not going to go that way because 3 and 2 subtracted give me 1. So that's not it. So it's going to be 3 and 1. Let's see if that works. That's 6 and 1, which does subtract to give me 5. So it totally works. The biggest has to be whatever sign is right there. That's a plus. So the biggest is the plus. Well, 6 is bigger than 1. So the plus has to go there. The minus goes there. And I'm done. Who says gotcha? Let's see. Okay. I have a question. Really quick question. If I FOILed these out and then distributed the 2, what would I get? What I started with. I would have just gone in a circle. Okay, good. Okay, here's question 12. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick on question 12. So everybody watch closely, okay? So I look at number 12, and immediately, what do you guys think? What are you like? Okay, this is what I can do. You can at least take out a 2. And I love that you said at least. And that's why I'm going to show you a trick. Do I want to sit and list all the things that go into 162 and 98 and see if there's something bigger? No. So I know 2 is going to work, and I'm going to do 2, and then I'm going to show you how to check if I could have actually done something bigger, okay? How about x's? Can I take out any x's? No. So 162 divided by 2 is 81, x to the 8th. 98 divided by 2 is 49. Now right there, I immediately am thinking 2 is the biggest. You know why? 81 and 49 are both, tell me the word, not prime. Remember those? Perfect squares. So I'm thinking this is going to be a square. Let me show you my trick. Everybody watch. 81 and 49, what's smaller? 49. What goes into 49? 1 and 7 and 49. 1 doesn't do me any good. Does 7 go into the other number? 81. I'm looking for another number that goes into both. Does 7 go in? No. 49 go in? No. So I couldn't have done any bigger. Okay. I do want to say one thing because I feel like you guys are just like awesome at this right now. What if I figured out, which I didn't, what if I figured out that a 3 would also go into 81 and 49? Then instead of taking out a 2, I should have taken out a, can you tell me? A 6. Yeah, 2 times 3. So there's a cool little trick. Okay, we're not done. Difference of squares. So the 2 goes here. How do I know it's difference of squares and not difference of cubes? Don't talk about the 81 and 49. What else is telling me squares and not cubes? 2 goes into 8, but 3 doesn't go into 8, right? So that makes sense. Okay, 81 is 9 and 9. How do I split the x to the 8th into 2 things that are the same, that when I multiply together, I get x to the 8th? What's that? X to the 4th, x to the 4th. Good, you guys are awesome. Okay, and then one's a plus and one's a minus. And what goes in my second blank? 7. Good. Now I want to say one more thing. It looks like that guy can factor further. He can't. There's one reason why he can't go further. Someone tell me. Why can't I factor that guy further? Come on. Say it again. Well, it could be the difference of squares. So why is that not the difference of squares? Say it again. The 7. The 7's not a perfect square. So the 9 is the perfect square. The x to the 4th is a perfect square. The 7 messes it up. So I cannot go further. That's my answer. Who says I understand what he just said? Okay, awesome. Okay, 13. Every person in the room, tell me what to do right now. Take out a 2. How about a y? No, why not? 30 does not have a y. How could you possibly take that, right? 4 divided by 2 is a 2y squared. Plus 2 divided by 2 is a 1y. Minus 30 divided by 2 is 15. It's not going to be the difference of squares or the sum or the difference of cubes because I have 3 terms and those are 2-term rules. Who says I understand that? Okay, now let's just do guess and check. So it's going to be 2y and a plain y. Look in front of the 15. See how that's a negative? That tells you that you're subtracting and that the signs are different. What numbers multiply to give me 15? 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. Now guys, think ahead. Look, I'm trying to subtract to get a 1. 15 is huge. Look at the numbers in the parenthesis already, 2 and 1. Do you think I'm possibly going to be able to get a 1 using a 15 in either of those places? I don't think. It's too big. So I'm skipping over that guy, and I'm going to go to the other one, okay? So how about if we do this? Guys, look, 5 and 3. That gives me 10 and 3, which subtract to give me 7, and that is not it, okay? So now I'm going to go the other way, 3 and 5. And that is 6 and 5, which subtract to give me 1, so that's it, okay? The 6 is the biggest, and so it needs to take the sign I'm looking for, which is the plus. So the plus goes there, the minus goes there, and I am awesome at factoring, okay? Who says, yep, I'm good, I'm awesome at factoring? Okay, yay. Look at 14. Freeze for 2 seconds. How many terms do I have? My other classes have kind of struggled with this question. How many terms are in that problem? Tell me that. 2. Do you see? I mean, that's a pretty simple question, right? Terms are separated with pluses and minuses. Look right here for 2 seconds. We had this conversation last period. Look right here. 1 term or 2 terms? 1 term. 1 or 2 terms? 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Do you see? Okay, you guys are awesome. You're answering every question the same. So yay, yay, yay. Or every question correctly. Okay, can I take anything out?
Yes.
What can I take? 1A. Anything else? 1B. Yes. How many terms will I have on the inside when I take them out? 2. You know what I do? Truly, I fill that sign in. So then I have a blank and a blank and I'm not going to mess up. So if I have an A and I take it out, it's gone. I have 3 B's, I take out 1, I still have 2. I have 4 A's, I take out, or pardon me, 5 A's, I take out 1, I still have 4. 1 B, take it out, it's gone. If you stop, you earn 1 of 3. That's all you're going to get. Because what I'm left with, that inside, is it going to be squares or cubes, everybody? Difference of squares or difference of cubes? Come on, guys. It's squares. Why not cubes? 3 doesn't go into 4. 3 doesn't go into 2. It's not cubes. If this were 6 and a 9 or a 12 and a 3, totally could be cubes. Who says gotcha? Okay. So let's factor. It goes to A and B. The B, the second, goes to a B and a B. One's a plus. One's a minus. What to the second gives me A to the 4th? What's my second blank? How do I split my A to the 4th? A squared, right? That's it. Those don't factor further, and I'm done. Okay? Okay, freeze for just a second. I'm going to give you a little riddle, okay? If you can figure out this riddle, I'm going to give you $20 each. Just kidding. I would love to, but everybody's going to get it right. So just pretend like you're going to get 20 bucks. So try that hard, okay? Okay, in my hand I have a piece of paper. On the piece of paper is a number and you can't see it. Same thing over here. Paper in my hand, number, can't see it. So the only thing I tell you about these numbers is if I take this number and I take this number and I multiply them together, I get a 0. What do you know?
At least one of the numbers is 0.
Okay, now love, you did it again. So good. Everybody thus far has said one of them's a 0. He said at least one of them is a 0. Could they both be 0?
Yeah.
0 times 0 is a 0? Yes. So one is 0 or the other one's 0. Okay. Here's where I think people may have started getting, I don't think anybody got confused, but here's where they were struggling with seeing how many terms. Everybody look right here. Okay. I don't want you to tell me that we're multiplying two things together. I don't want you to see multiplying two things. I want you to see multiplying three things because it's going to be easier for you if you see it as 3. Look, here's something, there's something, and there's something. So see the 5 as separate from the x. Okay, so I want you to see 3 things right there. One of those has to be a 0. Can 5 be 0? Tell me. No. So that gives you nothing. If you set, everybody go, x equals 0, x minus 4 equals 0. I'm not going to make you write that on your paper. I'm just trying to show you. So the first answer is x equals 0. The second answer, the minus 4 comes over and becomes a plus 4. There are your answers and you're done. That's it. Just 0 and 4. Okay, let's do the next one. How many things am I multiplying together? Everybody tell me. 4. Look right here. Please see it correctly. Then you're going to be able to do it correctly. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Couldn't 2 be 0? No, doesn't do anything. If I set x squared equal to 0, what's the only thing squared that can give me a 0? 0. So that gives me x equals 0. 0 squared is 0. It's the only thing will do it. Shout out what the factor x plus 1 gives me. What solution does that give me? You pull it over, it becomes a negative, so -1, right? Talk to me about the x minus 3. Positive 3, done. That's it. Okay, next one. How many things am I multiplying together? 3. 1, 2, 3. The 3 gives me nothing. The x to the third gives me, talk to me. What does it give me? When I set it equals 0, I get a 0. 2x minus 1. I don't really even want you to show work on it. I want you to try to just do that in your head. If I set 3x minus 1 equal to 0, the 1 comes over and becomes a positive, and then you do what? Divide by 2. So that would be 1/2. Just do that in your head. Okay? Okay, now, that was nice and sweet because they factored it for me, but now it's not factored. Now I have to do the whole shebang. Look right here. I really, really, really want you to look forward for a second. Watch me do this wrong. I'm not trying to be rude, but the person that does this is extremely confused. Watch me do it wrong. Move my 7 over. 2x to the second equals -4 minus 9x. Divide by 2. X to the second equals -4 minus 9x over 2. Square root. X equals plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 9x over 2. There's my answer. Very confused. The second I look at that, I don't need to see the problem or any of the work, and I know that thing's wrong. I don't even have to look. I'm like, it's wrong. How do I know it's wrong? Can you tell it's wrong just by looking at it without looking at any of the work? How do you know that? How do you know that that's wrong? Thanks.
They're solving for x, not for 0.
You're solving for x, and what's over there on the other side? Another x. So you're solving for x and you've got it in terms of x. That doesn't make sense. The x's have to be together if you're solving it, not one on each side. Who says I understand that? Okay, so don't do that. Okay, so what do we do? Look, I have an x to the second and an x to the first. What am I going to have to do? Eventually. Not right now, but what am I going to have to do? You're going to have to factor it. Whoever said that, factor it. Okay? But you don't factor it right now. What do you do first, everybody?
Pull everything over the same.
Pull it over to one side. So step number 1, set it equal to 0. So I'm going to take that 3 and the negative 9x and I'm going to pull it over to the left. So I have 2x to the second plus 9x. The 3 comes over and becomes a negative, and I have plus 4. That is an incomplete sentence in an English class. That's incomplete. That line is not accurate. What's missing? Equals 0. Thank you. Do not have an incomplete sentence. This is not the difference of squares. It is also not the sum of cubes or difference of cubes because I've got too many terms. How many terms do I have on the left side, everybody? Come on, you guys, you're freaking me out. Look, on the left side, how many terms? Freaking me out. This is something that I think they don't press you on a lot, but you have to see it. Look right here. 1 term or 2 terms? That x, 1. 1 term or 2 terms? 1. 1 term or 2 terms? 1 or 2? Still 1. 1 or 2? Now it's 2. You guys know that. So why don't you know the one over there? How many on the left? Tell me.
3.
Yay! 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Okay, let's factor it. Can I take anything out? Can I take anything out, guys? No. So I'm going to go to a 2x and a plain x. Don't have an incomplete sentence. Right here, that's a plus. So I'm adding, and the signs are the same. What numbers multiply to give you 4? 4 and 1 and 2 and 2. Guys, I'm trying to get a 9. 9's kind of big. So should I try the 4 and the 1 or the 2 and the 2? Go big, yeah, go the 4 and 1. And I can see it right here, look, 4 and 1. You get to a point where you're like, oh, I can see it. It's easy. So this is 8, this is 1, 8 plus 1 is 9. Signs are the same. They're both going to be, tell me, both going to be plus. Look in front of the 9x, that's a plus. If you forget your equal 0 right there, then you think you're done because you think it's just a factoring problem. But it's a solving problem. Some people will take that 2x minus 1 and they say, yay, that gives me a solution of negative 1. Is that correct?
No.
What is it?
1.
Negative 1 divide by 2, right? And this is a negative 4, and we're good. Okay? Okay, question B. There are several ways to do this problem. There's always are several ways. There's never just one way. But I'm always going to teach you the easiest way. What would you do? You tell me what you would do. Take out a 4. Let's take out a 4. And I'm left with x to the second minus 4 equals 0. Now the x to the second minus 4 is the difference of squares. So that factors to x plus 2 times x minus 2. No incomplete sentences. So put equals 0. How many things am I multiplying together right here, guys? 3. 1, 2, 3. Is the 4 going to give me a 0? 4 equals 0. Can 4 apples be the same as 0 apples? No. Doesn't give me anything. The x plus 2 gives me a minus 2. The minus 2 gives me a plus 2. And we're done. Who says got it? Okay. I want to add something right here. Is this problem checkable? I love that. I love that word. I say it a lot. Is it checkable? And it really is a word because I Googled it. I was afraid I was saying a word that wasn't real. It's a word. Yes, it is. Grab your calculator. We're going to check it. Okay. How are we going to check it? What are we going to do? Plug those back in. And we use our nice little store button, right? Everybody go to store, enter. Then you plug it into the original left-hand side, right there that I just highlighted, and you better get 0. So everybody go 4, membar, enter, x squared, minus 16, enter. I just checked them. Easy to check. Checking the negative 2 is, did I do negative 2? I did negative 2, right? The first one I did, what did we check? 2 or negative 2? 2? Okay, let's check the negative. I didn't know which one I did. Watch how easy it is to check the next one. You just go -2, store, enter. Then go up, up. Do you see how you're back on top of the equation? When I hit enter, the calculator's going to recompute that, this time with the a being a -2. Hit enter, just check that. So 20-second check, 25 tops, okay? Okay, C and D. Here we go, C. You tell me, step 1, what do we do? Take out a, can you take out a 20? Can't take out a 20. What can you take? 5, right? What else? An x. 20 divided by 5 is a 4, x squared, minus 125 divided by 5 is 25. I have an x, I take it out, it's gone. No incomplete sentences equals 0. That inside stuff has 2 terms, and my exponent's even. That's a difference of squares. So the 4x to the second is going to split to a 2x and a 2x. No incomplete sentences. One's a plus, one's a minus. What to the second gives you 25? 5. Looks like that. How many things am I multiplying together? I feel like you guys knew that, and then now we've lost it. It's 4. 4 things. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Okay. 5 is not going to give me 0. The x gives me a, tell me, 0. The next answer is, tell me, -5/2. What's the next one? +5/2. Can you write that as plus or minus 5/2 and 0? Sure. Sure. Okay, 2 more and we are done. Oh no, 3 more and we're done. You tell me, what do we do? One side, right? So we have 2x to the second minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. I want everyone in this room to tell me yes or no. Difference of squares, yes or no?
No.
Why not?
3 terms.
3 terms, not 2. Sum of cubes or difference of cubes, yes or no? No, why not? 3 terms. So the only option is guess and check, okay? So 2x a second goes to 2x and a plain x. No incomplete sentences. Guys, look how my work is neat and tidy and thorough and everything's there. That's what you have to do. Are the signs the same or are they different?
Same.
The same. What are they both going to be? Negative. Yes. I think you guys like my way of factoring, don't you? I think you do. Who says, I struggled at factoring and now I think I'm a rock star after that lesson? Yay, that makes me feel happy. Good. So 1 and 1 multiply to give me 1. So those are the only options. Now, I can't be completely confident that I factored that correctly because I really didn't check that that worked out. So I always do a quick check. -2, -1 gives me a -3. So now I'm confident, okay? So that 2x minus 1, the 1 comes over and becomes a positive, divide by 2. The x minus 1 comes over, becomes a positive, and I'm done. I think the stress level in this class is going to go way down.
Yeah.
And that's good. For a while, like 3 weeks. And then it's going to go like this. But then it'll come back down. And then you're going to leave. Do you guys know you know how sometimes they're lame and they give us like, oh, you have to come to school on a Friday or you have to do, like for Christmas break, we don't get, this is a 2 solid weeks. That's awesome. Okay. This guy's different. Okay, but you're going to be fine. So what would you do? I know you really have not done this, but what do you think you should probably do? All on one side. Awesome. And would I move the stuff on the right to the left or the left to the right? And it kind of makes a difference. I want my biggest exponent, which is a 3, to have a positive sign. So I'm taking these guys and pulling them that way. Because if that big guy doesn't have a positive, it's way tougher. So this is x to the third plus 4x to the second minus x minus 4 equals 0. Why is this weird? We haven't done this. Why is it weird? Okay, there are 4 terms. Yes, that was the question I kept asking my other class. How many terms are there? And they couldn't tell me 4 on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 terms. Okay, everybody watch this. Lots of different ways to teach it. I've taught it many different ways. This is definitely the easiest way. Look, see your x to the third? Split it. So make it an x to the second and an x to the first. It doesn't matter if you do the x to the first and then the x to the second. Who cares? Okay? Here's the cool part. Look, you want a 4x squared. Whatever you put right there is going to be multiplied by the x squared. So what do I put there to make it a 4x squared? Plus 4. Super simple, right? The next guy, I need a negative x. Whatever I put there is going to be multiplied by the x. What goes there? Negative 1. Okay? Negative 1. So you do have to be careful just to check that you factored it correctly. You have to make sure, see that negative 4? You just have to make sure that a negative 1 times a positive 4 is a negative 4. And it is. So we're good. Okay, the x squared minus 1 is not factored completely. So that's the difference of squares. X plus 1 times x minus 1. You still have the x plus 4. No incomplete sentences, so put your equals 0. So your answers are x equals negative 1, positive 1, and negative 4. Okay? Is it coincidental that the biggest exponent is a 3 and I have 3 solutions? Is that coincidental? It is not. It is not. They will always match. Okay? All right. Question F. You do it by yourself. Okay? Hi, hon. Just set it on my seat, sweetie. And thank you again for interrupting me and having me do that. Okay, there's my answer. Negative 1/2, positive 4. It's right. Look how I did it. I pulled the 12 over, I factored it, and I got those answers. I bet you didn't do it that way. I bet you guys did this. You took out a 3 and then factored what was left and got the same exact answers, right? My point for doing that is this. If you're solving, you don't have to take out the GCF. It's way easier if you do. So this method right here is what I'm sure you guys all did. And I definitely think that that is easier than this guy. Because look at those numbers, 6, 21, and 12. Who wants to factor with those numbers? Versus 2, 7, and 4. Way better, okay? Who says I understand your point, what you're saying to me? Okay, great. Okay, we still have 5 more minutes. But your tests aren't done, so they're done, but they're not done. I'm going to say